Most interesting thing in tech, the rise and fall of iRobot, which just declared bankruptcy and has sold itself, its remaining assets, to one of its Chinese suppliers. Here's what happened. Company's founded in about 1990 by a bunch of MIT engineering prodigies, Rodney Brooks. 2001, they introduced the first Roomba. That thing was incredible. I remember the first time I had a Roomba vacuum and just watching with awe as it vacuumed the apartment. I remember the kids dropping little bits of dust in front of the Roomba. It was so cool. It was an amazing device and made the company a ton of money. Okay, but then they start to make some bad decisions. So one bad decision, weirdly, is that they don't recognize that the Roomba vacuum will be integrated with the mop. They think that mops and vacuums are two separate devices. They create the Brava. Doesn't work as well. I'd never really liked my Brava. But in any case, Chinese manufacturers are like, this should be interesting. We should integrate them. So mop, vacuum get put together. Suddenly there's a competitor. Eventually iRobot catches up, but a little bit of a problem. Secondly, at this time, they don't realize they have a gold mine of data. There's a strategic decision that should have been made, I don't know, around 2010, that they have all these maps of people's houses. They figured out how people use it. They have a little bit of a data moat, and they could have gone into supplying other household robotics. Maybe they could be one of the companies that makes parts for humanoid robots that are going in the household. But in any case, they don't see that path, or they don't see enough of that path to prioritize it and execute it really well. So they miss out. Clearly, robots are massive. It's weird that the biggest robot manufacturer in the US is going under right now, but there we are. Okay, so that leads to the next mistake. So then in about, I think it was 2015 or 2016, they sell off their military unit. This is at a time when there's tons of pressure, remember Google and all the other big tech companies, about doing deals with the US military. iRobot, it comes under activist shareholder pressure. They sell off that division. Whoops, that is clearly a huge thing right now. Selling robots to the military is a massive, massive deal. That would be a very good business for them to have right now. Okay, next big thing that happens, pandemic. So there's pandemic, everybody's stuck at home. Everybody starts spending more money on sort of consumer electronics. Lots of people buy iRobots. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Peloton. They overestimated what their future cash flows would be like just because people were spending like mad during the pandemic. Pandemic ends, there's a little bit of a cash crunch, people don't have as much money, 2022, 2023, suddenly iRobot is in trouble. Then here comes the next big problem. Amazon says they're gonna acquire iRobot. Okay, that's a lifeline, it's gonna be fine. But European antitrust regulators say, no, that's not gonna work. That's gonna lead to anti-competitive problems, more monopolization, boom, suddenly that's when it's really lights out for iRobot. They lay off a ton of their staff after the acquisition from Amazon gets knocked away. Then more problems, tariffs, for example. iRobot, it's an American company, but they build most of their robots in Vietnam. The tariffs really hit it. And then of course, they're just outcompeted by Chinese manufacturers. It is very hard, as people who make drones, as people who make robots, as people who make all kinds of devices, are realizing it is very hard to win on low-end devices against China. Just really good at manufacturing this stuff. So iRobot ends in this position where over-leveraged, they've missed the opportunity to go into other divisions or hold out on their military unit. They've missed the opportunity to become big in sort of home robots or humanoid robots, and now lights out. It's very sad because I really did love my Roomba.